All right, welcome back, team. This is the blue collar project here within NetSuite, where we're going to be managing all of your project financials. For those of you who are just joining us, go back and watch a couple of our videos on the billing aspects of things for fixed fee, progress billing, as well as maybe project creation, contract creation, and the like. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to look at change orders and creating a change order and how that's going to affect both our contract as well as our budget. If we come to the change order log tab, we can see where we have a list of some change orders that are currently out there, one that's pending approval and one that's already been approved. And let's go ahead and create a new change order here by just hitting that create change request button. It'll pop open a new tab for us, and we can give it a description. We can say, building additional buildings. Let's make it real creative here. We'll go ahead and hit save. What that's going to allow us to do now is it's going to allow us to be able to propose some changes to the contract via this change order process and store them here until we get approval from our customer. So in this particular case, looks like we've got a couple of different line items that are already on the budget, already on the contract rather. And we could go in here and change these and say, hey, you know what, if we're going to build some additional buildings, that's going to add some things to phase one as well as potentially phase two. Or, what we might even want to do is add a brand new line item, maybe installing some eaches of some kind. So we can do that as well. We could add a lump sum item here too, but we're going to say change order, let's call it number 3 for fun. And what we're going to do is we're going to increase this by, call it 150 units at $125 each. It's going to give us roughly 20,000 bucks in the change order for that particular line item. And we'll go ahead and hit save. So total, looking at a change order of roughly $78,000 in revenue. Now, it would only stand to reason that if we're going to get an extra $78,000 in revenue, we're going to have to add an additional amount of cost somewhere. So generally, we're going to take this information from our estimating tool and then import this into NetSuite. And we're going to do some things like say, hey, you know what, we're going to have some additional labor here. Let's call it 15,000. Some additional equipment usage, call it 7,500. And then let's go ahead and add some stuff down here too for 15,000 bucks. Now, what if we needed to add a line item to our cost budget that didn't previously exist? Well, let's go ahead and do that with, let's stay in that masonry. Let's go to the concrete masonry one and grab the cost code here for concrete forms. It looks like a good one that we're not using yet. And then we'll also come in here and we'll say we're going to add a little bit of material and hit add. And then we're going to do the same thing. Maybe add another line item there to division 3 for those concrete forms. But instead of material this time, we're going to add a little bit of labor. We'll hit add. So now we have 2 new line items that we can actually manipulate here and add some money to. So let's go ahead and add 12.5 to this one and 12.5 to that one. 62,500 for a $77,000 change order. Not the best of margins, but it'll do for today. We'll go ahead and hit save on this. Now, sometimes our GC or our customers, whether that's the owner, the GC, or another subcontractor that we happen to be working for, wants us to put together a little bit of a summary as to what the change is and a description. There's a standard form for that. Generally, it's called a G701 style form. And we can open that up here and we can see we've got the original contract value, previous change orders, the previously approved value, what we're asking for this time, and then, of course, what the new sum will be. We can start to route that for a DocuSign too, if we needed to. It's also going to include that information about what the change order is all about. Of course, we can pretty this up and make it look good for your organization with slapping your logo on there, so on and so forth. But that's a pretty standardized form. If your GC owner or customer does not allow you to be able to produce a form of your own, that's fine. You can continue to still fill those out manually. But if you needed a little help to be able to fill one out automatically, of course, we've got that capability. Let's go ahead and come back to our project here. Look at this change order log, and we'll do a quick refresh. And it's going to show us now that we've got that $78,000 change order with roughly 20% margins for building those additional buildings. Got to be pretty small buildings for that amount, but let's go back to the change request here and we'll go ahead and say we approved it. So we're going to add another $60,000, give or take, to the budget. We're going to add another roughly $80,000 to the contract. And we're going to go ahead and review those changes as they populate on the project itself. Going back to the project now that that's updated, we can again come to the budget tab right here, and we can see we got a current estimate of 1.82 million. Of course, that's going to add 60,000, give or take. We're going to get up to 1.8 million on that current estimate. That's great. And if we come down here to the bottom, we can start to see those new concrete forms that were not a part of our original cost estimate, but both got that 12.5 in there from a current estimate perspective. And if we come to our contract tab, let's do a quick refresh there too. We should be able to see our current approved contract increase, and then we should see another line item show up here for that change order number 3, just as expected, for the 18,750. And then if we come to our billing tab, same thing is going to be true there. Now it's going to be all set and ready for us to bill those brand new units. If we wanted to bill another 75 of those units, we absolutely could right out of the gate. Create our invoice just like we did in that previous billing video, but we'll forego that for now. Thanks again for joining us on the change order side of things, but look forward to seeing you again on the next one.